Hey, sixth grade. In case you forgot, my name is Mr. Tilley and I'm your school counselor this year. Welcome to our first guidance lesson of the year. Now, I remember I told you all I'd promise not to make it boring, so let's go ahead and get right into it. Today is the first part of our series on transitioning to middle school, and we're going to be learning about time management and study skills. And these two skill sets are some of the most important when it comes to becoming a successful middle schooler. So let's get right into it. So because you have 6 or 7 different classes, it's super important that you stay organized. And so I know it can be really tempting when school's over to maybe go play Minecraft or watch YouTube videos, but sometimes we have to make time to study and do homework. But how can we keep up with all these classes at once? I'm gonna give you a few tips. The first tip, use an agenda. Agendas are an excellent way of keeping track of when assignments are due. And there are a few different ways you could do this. You could use a written agenda, like this one. You could use Google Calendar. Maybe you have a whiteboard in your room where you can write when your assignments are due. Or even use sticky notes and put them on your wall and have a little section of your wall for sticky notes. Another way you could keep your classes organized is through binders. Have a binder for each class, or even if you want to do it virtually, have a Google Doc for each class. That way you can keep all your stuff organized by class and none of it gets mixed up. The next tip is study to learn. Now, what does that mean? A lot of people think studying is just a thing you do when a test is coming up, but I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. If you study to learn, you won't need the panic study when that test is coming up because your brain will already have the information. For example, let's pretend that your brain is a person and that studying is food. What do you think would be easier? Eating 100 pancakes in one day or eating 100 pancakes in 1 week? I promise you, if you try to eat 100 pancakes in one day, your stomach's not going to be able to handle it all. Just like your stomach can only take so much food, your brain can only take so much learning. So instead of trying to cram all of that studying right before your test, spread it out over a week. That way it's easier on your brain and you retain more knowledge. All right, the next tip is to plan your study time in advance. Trust me, this is a big one. If you keep telling yourself, oh, I'll study later, I'll study when it hits 7 o'clock, maybe I'll study when it hits 7:30, you'll never get it done. Use your agenda, use your planners, and block out your study times. Trust me, it makes a huge difference. For example, if I know I have a test in social studies on Thursday and it's Monday, I know I need to set aside 45 minutes every day between now and Thursday for me to study. That way I'm the most prepared for the test on Thursday. So the next tip is find out how you best study. Everyone studies differently. There are so many ways to study. So figure out what you like to do for your study time. Maybe you like to put headphones on and listen to music while you study. Or, some people like complete silence. Some people like studying outside. Some people like to sit in their room on their bed. Some people are book readers. Some people use flashcards. There are so many different ways. So find what works best for you and stick to that, because the better environment you can have for studying, the more you're going to want to do it and the easier it's going to be. So we have a lot of habits and routines, right? We take showers, we brush our teeth, we eat food and drink water. These are all habits and routines that we have to keep us healthy. Well, think of studying like that. It needs to be a habit because you need to study in order to stay mentally healthy. And when studying is a habit, it becomes a lot less of a chore and more of just something that you have to do in order to stay healthy. All right, I'll admit it, studying can be really boring, right? Even for me, I love learning, but sometimes it was really hard for me to sit down and study for that test. Something you can do to make it a little more fun is find a study buddy. Something you and your classmates all have in common, at the very least, is that you all have to study for these quizzes and tests, right? So find someone, make a friend or two. And I know we're virtual, and that kind of complicates things, but maybe You can start a Zoom call, or maybe you can find a Discord server together. Make some friends, get to know each other, and when you study with a friend, a lot of times the time goes faster, and it's just a lot more fun in general. Wow, we just went through a ton of information really quickly, I know. So let's do a quick recap of what we just went over. So in order to be a successful middle schooler, some of the really important skills you need to have are time management and study skills. And here are the tips that we discussed. I said use an agenda, study to learn, plan your study time in advance, find out how you best study, make habits and routines of studying, and find a study buddy. If you utilize these tips and practice them every day, you'll start noticing that middle school isn't so complicated after all. Well, maybe it is, but things will be easier. And don't worry, sometimes you're just gonna mess up, and that's okay. You might have a week where it's just really hard to study and you didn't really stick to those routines, or you didn't stay organized. That's all right. Your mistakes don't define you. What matters is that you realize you made that mistake, and then you go and you practice those tips and you get better. That's what matters. I want y'all to have a great week, and if you want to discuss this lesson with me, feel free to head on over to our Google Classroom. Here's the Google Classroom code, and it's also available in my email I sent to you all last week, and we can discuss it together. You can also fill out my meeting request form if you want to talk about anything at all. Fill out that meeting request form and I'll catch up with you. Thank you all for watching this video, and I'm looking forward to talking with y'all throughout the week. See ya.